During the month of January in 2023, I had gotten the winter blues and wanted to do something interesting. I was going to go to the National New York Central Museum in Elkhart, but of course that museum was outdoors and it was cold. So, the next weekend on February 4th, we decided to go to the Laporte County Historical Society Museum. This is a 1903 Winton car with a funny-looking dog in it. You can pause and read these pamphlets if you want more information. This is an 1865 Empire wagon. A 1910 Laporte carriage. Several maps about the Lincoln Highway Association. There is a stone dedicated to this highway at the depot in downtown. A 1948 Playboy painted in a nice shiny black. A two-tone black and white 1960 1500 series Metropolitan. Of course, though, I was here for trains, not cars. This toy train and this wooden train were very interesting to me. There was also this Broadway trolley, numbered 10430, and a puzzle of the New York Central 999. This other metal train in the same display case, and a glass train with candies inside of it. Those candies aren't real, they're replicas. Hey look, it's Ned. It's actually a Danny Wagger & Co. Contractors steam shovel. There's also this toy trolley. Ned number 2. And a high-wheeler bicycle. (1931) American Austin. In the staircase leading to the basement, there was this old picture of the interurban station in Rolling Prairie. This one of the bird's eye view of La Crosse with Monon cars visible at the bottom, and this one of the Alls-Chalmers Works in LaPorte building military equipment for World War II. A 1968 Studebaker Cruiser. A 1956 Ford Thunderbird. And a poster on the automotive history of Indiana. A scale model of an Alls-Chalmers tractor dedicated to the workshop uptown that closed. This large poster with another Monon yard visible at the bottom. A 1985 Plymouth Grand Fury. A map of Native American tribes of the Northwest Territory. And finally, the trains. There was this massive poster of South Shore locomotives. South Shore Interurban car number 28 is here. The builder's photo of a South Shore Electric 74. South Shore 307 fights against the snow in 1930. And South Shore Steeple Cab 1014 with interurban cars in the background. Also the modern GP38s, which I've seen, which run this line. And another modern car with a black and white filter, number 31. And South Shore Little Joe 103, which I saw at the Illinois Railway Museum. Next was the model railway exhibit. There was a PRR K4 and its nice lined out livery, an Erie Pacific number 2703, A vintage Lionel Hudson model numbered 5342.
That's cool.
This is a vintage Lionel Hudson here.
Did you?
And a complete HO scale U.S. Army train with a GE diesel at the head end. Three more vintage Lionel engines with their respective trains, a Pacific and two Atlantics. And finally, the main train-related exhibit, Dr. Alan Fisher's N-gauge model railway layout, starting with the steam shed with front and top views. Southern Pacific GS4 4450, a CB&Q livery N&W S3080, Milwaukee Road, or maybe CNW 4405, a gray boiler Pacific vintage model, and two identical USRA Santa Fe Mikados. Just like at Tyler's Tender, you would turn a timer and then the trains would go. The one that came closest to the wall was Burlington Route 875 and BN 2814, with a nice consist of differently colored boxcars and a CB&Q orange caboose. There was also BN Jeep 2096 and F Unit 703 with freight trains. There was a Santa Fe painted F units, which was identical to mine, and some glorious-looking Burlington Northern passenger stock. Here, the two freight trains come around through the tunnel once again. These ones were quite far away from the camera, which made filming a little difficult. The massive control panel dedicated to controlling all of these trains. Then, 670 and 2818 came around the bend again with their freight train. The huge rail yard filled with a massive variety of different boxcars and grain cars. And, of course, more footage of the 703 and 2096 moving around the layout with their respective freight trains. A 1920 Samson Model D tractor, a 1910 Model Number 1 Pony Go carriage, a 1922 Ford Model T, a futuristic-looking 1976 Yare, a 1915 Ford Model T, a 1967 Super Olympic Skido, a 1959 Model 22-160 Piper Tri-Pacer, a model of the barn right outside the museum, a buggy whip, The one missing picture from the South Shore display. And even more footage of 706 and 2096 with their trains.
Only the diesel are operating.
The very well-detailed town on the left side, where unfortunately no trains ran. Now heading upstairs, there was a 1938 Mercedes-Benz. A 1911 Ford Model T, which placed third in the Round the World Istanbul to San Francisco run in 1976. A 1929 recreation of a Ford Auburn. A 1935 Model 851 Auburn. A 1934 four-door convertible Brewster. A 1984 sport convertible Dodge Dakota. A 1982 DeLorean. A 1951 Commander from Studebaker. A 1940 Model 51C Buick Super. A 1948 Torpedo Tucker. A panning shot of pretty much the entire left area of the museum. A 1940 Super Deluxe Ford. A 1923 Duesenberg Model I-152. A 1930 Cord Model L-29. Interestingly, there was a second model railway exhibit with a New York Central S motor model by Lionel, a metal toy train, a much more basic, very vintage metal toy train, another metal toy train with string between it and the tender, this streamlined streetcar, which is also a toy, another train toy, an Erie and an NW train, and again an LMS and LNER train. Does that make sense? And this ride-along train.
That's O gauge?
Yeah, it's O.
I see Batman.
This yellow plane, which unfortunately didn't have an information pamphlet. Same with this old-fashioned looking plane. This one did though. It's an 1896 glider. This one is a strange looking plane, probably from the 60s or 70s. A 1866 Benz replica motor wagon. A 1912 Ford Model T. A 1903 Duria Model 251. And here is it at the start of the Brighton run in November 1996. A 1902 Toledo Runabout. A 1912 Baker Model V. A 1910 Veli Model F. A 1948 MG Model TC. A 1930 Ford Model Two-Faced A. A 1967 Amphicar Model 770. A 1925 Ford Model T. A 1934 Citroën Traction Avant 7A. A 1968 Daimler Model 250. A 1964 and a half Ford Mustang. A 1923 Citroën 5CV. The 1937 Cord Model 812. The 1950 Austin Model A90. And the absolutely massive 1914 Mitchell Model Big 6. Along with this Door Prairie Auto car, which is very small, and this ridiculous two-faced car.
I chose to put a big honkin' supercharger on mine and make a whole bunch of modifications to the body.
I don't know what Lon's block is, but they have nice architecture. The modern storybook. Not so modern anymore, huh? The plate to the plane that's elevated above the staircase. My brother standing in front of the DeLorean. And finally, it was time to leave. There was this stone with Laporte County Jail written on it from the original jail. This picture of the actual museum, and this picture of the part that wasn't captured. Then we made a small stop on our way out to here. A giant snowy field with the Door Prairie round barn in the background. This barn was built in 1882, and here is some interesting information about it that you can read. And that's everything the Laporte County Historical Museum has to offer. I would like to see you again for another vlog just like this one.